So it's gonna just take a drive here and kind of go over different things that I've done to this point, give you some of my thoughts, whether I would do anything differently. So regarding the necessary maintenance, which was the timing belt and the water pump, in hindsight I think those were both still fine, at least the ones that came on the original, well, I should say original from when I purchased it. The belt looked fine, and the water pump I don't think had any issues per se, but I replaced both of them. And that's necessary. It's a lot of work. The directions online on Rensless, they're fine, but they're not, I think they're for a different model, or a different year I should say, so not everything's exact. The other thing I did was replace the oil pan gasket along with a bunch of other gaskets, and that's necessary. That was critical because I was losing a lot of oil, so I'm very glad I did that. I did the motor mounts, which I'm also very glad I did. I can feel an improvement on that. While I was down there, I replaced or modified or upgraded the manifold and to an 85/86, and I'm glad I did that, although that was a lot of work. And then the last thing I did was put on the X-pipe. Now that is something I'm not sure if it was worth it. I'm glad I did it, but it was a lot of work, and I don't recommend it, especially if you have this model or pre-85 or US 85, because it doesn't, at least the X pipes from I think it's 928 Motorsports, but it's sold through Roger at 928 RS, so it's not an exact fit, so you have to do a modification, and whether you want to do it yourself or not, or you're gonna have an exhaust shop do it, which I didn't want an exhaust shop to muck with my car, so I ended up doing it myself, or at least enlisting assistance from a friend of mine who knew how to weld. But that was a lot of work. We did that yesterday, and it was not easy, so I don't recommend the X-pipe. Now it sounds way better, so that's why I'm glad I did it, but and arguably I'm supposed to get more horsepower. I haven't really tested it, or it's been so long since I've driven the car aggressively, so I don't know. I mean, again, I'm glad I did it and I went through it all, but in hindsight I don't recommend it, and whether you would feel a difference or not, I'm not sure. It sounds better, but it sounded fine before. So the other things I need to do on this car, one is the lower control arm ball joint, I think it's called. On the driver's side, I noticed that the boot was torn, so I bought it, and I have the little cam washers or whatever, but I'm gonna hold off on doing that because I believe I need an alignment afterwards. So I'm gonna wait a little bit on that. The other thing I need to do is look at the rear ABS sensors. I'm going to clean those. I cleaned the front ones, and my ABS light is still on. You can see that it's still turning on. It's not consistent because yesterday's drive home from work, it wasn't on, so it's inconsistent. But overall, I'm pretty happy with all the modifications that I did do and all the maintenance